If this technology scales, oil prices may never recover. That's not clickbait. That's a real warning quietly circulating inside the US energy world right now. And if you think the oil industry is untouchable, too big to fail, too powerful to collapse, stick with me, because what you're about to hear could flip the entire energy game on its head. We're talking about a breakthrough so disruptive that if it goes mainstream, oil rigs won't just slow down, they'll crack under pressure. Right now, as you're watching this, scientists and engineers are racing to perfect a new class of energy technology that doesn't just compete with oil, it makes oil look outdated, expensive, inefficient, almost ancient. And the wildest part? This isn't sci-fi, this isn't theory. This is already being tested, refined, and quietly backed at the highest levels. Before we go deep, real quick, if you're into brand new inventions, future tech, and the kind of breakthroughs that change how the world works, you're gonna love this channel. Consider subscribing to World Inventions X. It seriously helps a new creator. And trust me, the next videos are only getting crazier. All right, let's get into it. For over 100 years, oil has been king. It built empires, fueled wars, decided geopolitics, and made a handful of companies richer than entire countries. Cars, planes, ships, plastics, fertilizers, oil touched everything. And every time a replacement showed up, solar, wind, biofuels, oil always found a way to survive, adapt, dominate. But this time feels different. Because this new technology doesn't just generate clean energy, it rewrites the economics of energy itself. Imagine producing massive amounts of power using materials that are abundant, cheap, and locally sourced. No drilling miles into the earth, no tankers crossing oceans, no pipelines stretching across borders, just energy on demand without the oil middleman. Here's the micro hook you need to hear. This technology isn't trying to beat oil at its own game. It's changing the rules so oil can't even play. At the center of this shift is advanced next-generation energy systems. Think ultra-efficient fusion-adjacent research, solid-state energy storage, and catalytic processes that squeeze more usable power out of a reaction than ever before. The kind of systems where energy loss drops so low it almost feels illegal. And yes, this work is being actively supported and coordinated by the US Department of Energy, along with national labs and private innovators you've probably never heard of, but soon. Here's why oil executives are nervous. Oil survives because of infrastructure. Once you build rigs, refineries, pipelines, and gas stations, switching away is painfully slow and expensive. But these new energy systems are modular, scalable, distributed. You don't need a $1 trillion global supply chain to roll them out. You can start small and then explode. Picture a future where factories generate their own power, where neighborhoods run on localized energy hubs, where transportation doesn't care about gas prices because it doesn't use gas at all. Once that tipping point hits, demand for oil doesn't gently decline, it falls off a cliff. Quick retention check. The real shock isn't that oil demand could drop, it's how fast it could happen. Oil markets run on expectations. The moment investors believe oil demand won't rebound, capital dries up, exploration slows, projects get canceled, prices swing wildly, and once confidence breaks, it's almost impossible to rebuild. We've seen this movie before. Coal thought it was invincible, then cleaner, cheaper alternatives showed up, and boom. Coal didn't disappear, but it lost its crown. Oil is now staring at the same threat, except this time the replacement tech is smarter, faster, and way more efficient. This isn't about saving the planet, this is about winning on cost. When a technology produces energy cheaper than oil, ideology doesn't matter anymore. Markets choose the winner, period. And here's where things get spicy. Some of these energy systems can integrate directly with existing infrastructure, meaning companies don't even need to fully rebuild, they can retrofit. That lowers resistance, speeds adoption, and accelerates oil's decline even more. Now imagine oil rigs, once symbols of power, literally becoming stranded assets, billion-dollar structures with no profitable future. That's where the oil rig cracking visual hits different. Not physically breaking, economically breaking. And if you're thinking oil companies will just buy the tech, you're not wrong, but that's also the problem. When oil companies pivot into clean energy, they stop being oil companies. The oil era still ends. Here's a subtle but important point most people miss. Energy revolutions don't announce themselves loudly. They sneak up quietly, then suddenly dominate. Right now, this technology is in the boring phase. Labs, pilot programs, government grants, industry partnerships. No flashy commercials, no Super Bowl ads. That's exactly how you know it's real. The biggest oil disruption might not come from cars. It could come from industry. Heavy manufacturing, data centers, logistics hubs, these are massive energy hogs. If they switch first, oil loses its most profitable customers. Gasoline demand alone can't hold the empire together. So what happens next? In the short term, oil fights back. Lobbying, messaging, energy security arguments. You'll hear a lot about how oil is still necessary, and for now, it is. Transitions take time. But long term, the math doesn't lie. When energy becomes cleaner, cheaper, and easier to deploy, oil doesn't get phased out by force, it gets outcompeted. And that's the part that should really sink in. This secret energy technology isn't trying to destroy the oil industry. It doesn't need to. It just needs to work. Because once it scales, oil prices won't crash overnight, but they may never fully recover. And history shows us something brutal. Once a dominant technology loses growth, it never truly comes back. So the next time you see headlines about oil profits, remember, empires often look strongest right before the shift. If you found this breakdown valuable, smash that like button. It seriously helps push this video to more people who love future tech. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve on inventions that could change how America and the world runs, subscribe to World Inventions X right now. Because the next energy revolution isn't coming someday, it's already here.